Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for this presentation of the Arizona Faith Network during the Interfaith Awareness Week 2025. We have been very honored to collaborate with you, Reverend Steve and Reverend Abigail, for the Interfaith Awareness Week. So we are very happy to be with you and happy to share more about our network in Arizona. We will start with some introductions. My name is Vasubandhu. I'm a Buddhist monk and I'm serving as the Interfaith Manager for Arizona Faith Network. And I will pass to my dear friend Holly, and then Holly, if you would like to pass to somebody else. Thank you so much, Holly.
Thank you. My name's Holly Burton, and I come from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint faith. They're known as the Mormons. I actually am currently a graduate student at University of San Diego. I'm studying conflict management and resolution, getting a master's degree in that, with kind of the focus on religion, its impact on conflict, as well as its impact on peace, and really interested in interfaith work. So that's a long story to tell you that I've been working with Vasa Bandhu with the Arizona Faith Network just throughout this summer, and it's been incredible. They let me join them as an intern to just learn from their organization and all the amazing things they're doing, and it's been very inspiring, and I'm excited to share some of that with you. So nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Oh, I should pass it on. I've never met Dr. Reverend Steve. I've seen you on a lot of the screens this week, but
I was looking at you and saying, we've seen each other before. And have you been to any of the Poway Interfaith team activities?
I don't think so that I know of. The Poway, did you say?
Poway Interfaith team. We've been around since 2006, and we do 3, 4, sometimes 5 different projects throughout the year. Sue has been just a wonderful friend to us, to me personally, and for Abigail. And we would love to. We have meetings every month, and there's 18 different faith organizations involved throughout San Diego, and you're invited to the meetings.
I would love that. I'll have to connect with you and get more information. I've been doing the Pacific Beach Interfaith Coalition a little bit to their monthly meetings. So,
oh, good.
Good
group.
Nice to meet you. Thanks.
Thank
Are we all going to introduce ourselves? Is that okay? So, Robert, are you free?
Oh, no, I'm expensive. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, my name is Robert Enyart. I'm the president this year of Poway Interfaith team. So if you when you get out of the university there, if you just get on the 15, head north. It's if you've hit Escondido, you've gone too far. Okay. But it's a great little community. We have many faiths in Poway. It's quite remarkable, actually. So yeah, you'll have to visit us sometime.
Thank you. I'm going to. This is amazing. And Reverend Dr. Abigail Albert.
There we go. Yeah, hello everyone. I'm really happy to be here. Good to meet you, Holly. I mean, we'll eventually meet you in person because you're in our area. I'm executive director of the Poway Interfaith team, and have been doing that for a few years. And I love doing interfaith work, and I'm also a New Thought minister.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you. Ulrich, is it? Ulrich Roth. I see. I'm just going through names. I hope that's okay.
You're muted.
Yes. Just a moment. Oh. Hello, yes, my name is Ulrike, and so sorry to you. My English is not so good. I'm living in Germany. I'm a student on the Emory University by Dr. Lobsang Tensi Neki. So CPCC and yes, all over. And and yes, I come from the Charter for Compassion to here, and I like looking to interface, and I can better understanding English, not so good speaking, but yes, I think I can good understanding you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And sorry. I come from the healthcare, and I'm a medicine pedagogue. I'm so yes.
This is lovely. It's so lovely having you from so far away. I love that. I'm so grateful you connected. Thank you.
Thank you.
Imam, I got to meet you a little bit earlier this week. So, and I've seen you at one of the events this week. So yes, go ahead and introduce yourself. Love that.
My name is Iman Izoli. I am from Middle East, from Syria. But I came with my family to United States in 2015. And we got the citizenship in 2021. I believe in Baha'i faith. So one of the principles of Baha'i faith, it's the oneness of religion. So I like these meetings because I always want to meet, to have friends from different religions. So these sessions give me an opportunity for that. And at the same time, it gives me more information about many different religions I don't know, like Hinduism and Buddhism. So I am happy to be with you now. Thank you.
Thank you. It's lovely having you here.
Where
Al,
are you living, Imam?
Arizona, Phoenix.
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah. So hi, Alan Zaitchik, also living in Phoenix. I've been here for the past 12 years, moved here from San Francisco. I am the board chair of the Jewish Community Relations Council, and it's truly a pleasure to meet everyone here. Ulrich, your English is better than my German, and so you speak beautifully. And I'm looking forward to spending time with you. And I'm going to turn off my camera because I'm going to need to eat lunch now. So I'm going to be eating lunch while we're having our conversation.
That's great. Thank you. How about Carol? Do you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, everybody. Carol, I'm in Trinidad right now. I lived in Arizona for a total of 9 years, a couple of years up in Prescott and Verde Valley. So, but that's been a lot. I left there in about 1993. So I've got a new friend because of this week with Iman, and we've been doing a lot of emailing back and forth. So it's a real pleasure to get to know her. I'm in Trinidad because I originally was teaching math and science here, and I met a man and married him. And so I've had a house here for 15 years. Sadly lost him to COVID, but I'm still very connected here. And one of the things that I loved about meeting Iman is that there were a lot of Syrians that came here to Trinidad. So I had a lot of Syrian students way before the Arab Spring and everything happened, which at that time I was living in Egypt. I spent 3 years in Egypt. And one of the first questions Iman asked me is if I speak Arabic. And I have a very limited, I appreciate all of the English speakers here because I've been teaching overseas for like 17 years. So for me, normally I live in Rhode Island and I just happen to be here because as a teacher, I have the summer off. So I'm heading back in a week. I'll be flying out of here, but I've been here 8 weeks and I study Unitarian Universalism. That's where I'm a member up in the United States, and I sit in a Buddhist Sangha. So I've tried to grab as many of the sessions as I could. I think I've averaged about 3 a day, and it's such a pleasure. Thank you, Abigail. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Robert. You've been in every single one of the sessions that I've been to. Iman has been in most of them, and you, Holly. I saw you in a lot of them. So
I'm happy to see you, Carol. It's very nice.
yeah,
Beautiful.
so great. I'm also eating though, so I'm going to turn off my video. But I'm here and I'm listening, and it's such a pleasure to be here again with all of you. I'm loving this so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I see Betty, Ryan, if you're free, love to see you too. And I might be saying that wrong. Is it? Yes.
Hi. Yes, I am just a regular Arizona transplant from New Jersey over 33 years ago. And I'm just a loyal member and supporter of Arizona Faith Network. They do so much in so many areas. I'm just jumping in here to see what you're doing this week. And I've been in and out of the hospital quite frequently the past 3 months, so I'm a little behind times here, but you always have messages that bring me courage and hope when this world has so many problems. You at least are doing something about it. So thank you for including me on your mailing list all the time. I'm going to take off now too, because I'm going to just listen and thank you again for everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much. How about Nora Ted? Am I saying that? I hope I'm saying these names correctly.
Yes, well, my name is Ted. Passed away. I too moved here from the East Coast to Arizona in 1984. I live in Sun City now. I was a yoga and meditation teacher for over 30 years in the Maricopa County Community College District. Student of Buddhism and Hinduism. I was a Rosicrucian. My wife was into Wicca, so I've got a broad background in all sorts of different religions, and I've always been a supporter of world religions. So I thought I would tune in tonight and see what you guys are doing.
I love it. Thank you so much. Karen S., you're there.
Okay, hi. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I've been on quite a few of the sessions. But I've been involved with the New Thought movement since 1987, I think. And but I draw from a lot of different faith traditions in my daily practices. I did a comparative study of all the religions back in 1982, and I realized how much alike they really are. So I've just really studied a lot over the years. So,
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you. And we got two more. Carolyn, I hope I'm saying that correctly.
Let me unmute. Yes, you did say it correctly. And I'm Carolyn, grew up in Brazil, live in Poway these days. And I'm part of the Baha'i faith and also part of Interfaith. So I'm good friends with Abigail and Steve and Robert and the whole community here. We all like each other. At least I like everybody. Okay, so I'm going to have to leave a little bit early because I have another commitment at 5 o'clock. So just so that you know. And can I give a message to Iman? I've been trying to send her a message, but I can't seem to do that on the participant list here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know where she...
Yes.
You still there, Iman?
Yes, I am here.
Hey, I wanted to invite you to something. How do I get hold of you?
You want me to send you my email?
Would you please?
Yes,
Can you
yes, of
post
course.
it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And we'll talk later.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Holly.
Thank you. No, that's what this is about, is making connections. So I appreciate that. And then Amy Beck.
Hi, thank you. I'm here in Mojave Valley, Arizona. That's up in the north west corner in Mojave County. I was in Mesa and was following Arizona Faith Network for quite some time. I appreciate the events and was a regular at the environmental group for a while there when I had capacity to do so. I am raised in Unity, so a new thought tradition, but as that brings in lots of others, I am familiar with many mentioned here. But a lot of what I find my connection with Arizona Faith Network is my activism in our local Green Party chapter, because a lot of our activist leaders are also members of their faith tradition. So I see it coming together a lot, and I've shared a lot of the events with my fellow comrades in the activist world out there spreading compassion peacefully, non-violently, and learning how to do so, and where most we can affect change. So that's the main reason I try to join whenever I can. So thank you for welcoming me.
I love that. It's been so nice to meet. What a great group of people. I didn't mean to take that over, Vas Bandu. So thanks. I'll let you explain what we're going to share next. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Holly. Holly and myself are working together at the Arizona Faith Network, and we are very happy to having each of you. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for doing these introductions. I'm going to share my screen to present you about our network, local here in Arizona. The Arizona Faith Network is created to building bridges and breaking barriers. And we do this in many, many ways. Part of our way to do is to find the common good to create change for unity in our different faiths. And we have two main areas that we are working with. But I will start with part of our history. We exist since 1946. The Arizona Faith Network has been here to unite people from diverse faith backgrounds, fostering peace, understanding, and social action through interfaith dialogue and collaboration. So, this presentation is also an invitation for us to reconnect with this interfaith movement, and for all of you who are living here in Arizona to be part of our network, and even for our partners who are in other places to collaborate and to explore opportunities to collaborate together for this interfaith harmony. And I wonder, Imam, if you can help us to read this part.
Mhm. Okay. Arizona Faith Network is an interfaith organization dedicated to bringing people together to promote peace and understanding through interfaith education and dialogue, as well as healing of the world through collaborative social action.
Thank you. And Reverend Steve, are you able to help us to read this part?
We are made up of people of different faiths who covenant with each other in solidarity and mutual respect. We recognize that our diversity makes us stronger, and while we seek to find common ground, we also lift up our differences as unique individuals and communities.
Thank you. And Reverend Abigail, can you help us to read this part?
Together, we are committed to both civil dialogue and transformational action while we seek to keep our faiths and beliefs as an inspiration and direction for all that we do.
Thank you. So this is who we are. Arizona Faith Network have the vision to people of different religions united to create a positive change for the common good. And our mission is to invite all people into mindful relationships, to share prayer and dialogue rooted in our faith traditions and actions that influence public awareness, engagement, and policy. And this is our core values. I wonder, Holly, if you can help us to read the core values.
Sorry, I need to unmute. Yes, core values are based around faith, prayer, equity, inclusion, interreligious efforts, justice, honest dialogue, human dignity, love, sacredness of human life. And you can't really go wrong with all those beautiful things. So that's, yeah.
Thank you, Holly. Part of the history is that the Arizona Faith Network started as the Arizona Ecumenical Council and then became the Arizona Council of Churches, and then lived a different process of changes and reforms of the organization. And then in 2015 became the Arizona Faith Network, opening our collaboration to all diverse religions. This is the leadership that we have been over the years, and our current executive director is Reverend Katie Sexton. I will present to you also part of the board of Arizona Faith Network. Our president, Reverend Gerald Richard, our vice president, Lisa Derrick, our secretary, Garrett Stimblick, and our treasurer, Karen McLeod. Also, we have representatives from different institutions of religions in Arizona, including the Baha'i Faith, the Muslim community in diverse organizations, different denominations of churches within Christianity, the Sikh community, among many, many others. Also, with the Jewish community, we are very happy for Alan to joining us today. Alan is part of our board and is representative of the Jewish Community Relationships Council. So thank you so much for joining us, Alan, too.
Thank you. It's really an honor and delight to be here with everybody today. This is why we exist. So thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Now, I would like Alan to invite you to share how your experience to be part of the board of AFN.
That's so great because I'm a new board member. I only started a few months ago. The board position for the Jewish Community Relations Council and the Jewish community have been held by the executive director of our organization who moved back east. So I took over the chair. What's been amazing to me and been wonderful to me is that this organization works by a consensus model. I've never been on a board where essentially everybody on the board has to go along with everything the organization does. And we work and we find a way to make it work for everybody. Now we can say that certain organization might step back and let something move forward, but they really can't participate in it for faith reasons. But I've never actually seen that happen, and it is just it is a blessing to see that we have people of such different backgrounds, different worldviews, different obviously different religions. In many cases, they're from different countries who have a different way of doing things. Yet we come together with an open heart and with the note to carry out the mission that was read earlier, or as I like to think of it, just to make the world a little better place than we found it. And it just works. And I'll just also add, I don't want to take up a lot of time, that for some odd reason, I showed up on the board and they stuck me on the bylaws rewriting committee because I'm good at, I showed up at the wrong meeting and there we are. And dealing with bylaws for an organization is not the most fun part of the job. It's not like going and feeding the homeless or helping staff a cooling center or getting involved in an environmental action. But it needs to be done. And everyone coming to that in that small group has come in there with such an open mind and such a listening first. And this is, I've been involved in many, many boards, and I've never been involved in one that I can say after just a few months is as special as this one. So thank you, Vasu.
Thank you so much, Alan. And tomorrow we have a in-person meeting with the board, and we are very happy to having you, Alan. Thank you for sharing your experience. I will share now about the staff of Arizona Faith Network. Our executive director is Reverend Katie. I'm serving as Interfaith Manager. Our Southern Arizona Community Organizer, Reverend Ellie. Our Voting Rights Organizer, Medina Moore. Our Community Resilience Program Manager, Arvin Rushdan. Our Administrator, David Toppin. And our Financial Operation Coordinator, Kim Velarde. And of course, we are very, very happy to having you, Holly, as an intern for Arizona Faith Network. And now I would like to ask you, how has been your experience being a intern, working in this internship during all this time for Arizona Faith Network?
I have to say, it's exceeded my expectations in a way that the people I've been able to meet, but also just what I've learned of what's possible. As I mentioned, I come from Utah, and I'm hoping to, when I return from school, actually create something more like this. I haven't found anything quite like this in Utah, and I just think the experiences we've had and in the Know Your Neighbor and some of the other stuff we might talk about later, but it's just been incredible, really beautiful. And I love the vision and the mission you guys have had. So it's been very inspiring and a total privilege. And any of you who know Vasa Bandhu know that I'm working with just a beautiful human being. So I'm just really grateful just for the chance to be mentored by his influence, and it's been beautiful. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Holly. It's a pleasure collaborating with you. Every week we are connected and we are working for creating this interfaith awareness in our community in Arizona. So thank you so much, Holly. Recently we have a event in person and Holly was able to join us, the Know Your Neighbor program in Scottsdale, Arizona. So this program, and we will explain more about that, but it's helping connecting religious leaders in specific neighborhoods in Arizona. So we are bringing a very local focus approach for interfaith collaboration here in the state of Arizona. And now we will share more about that, about what we do. And I wonder, Robert, if you can help us to read this part.
Of course. At Arizona Faith Network, our work is organized into two main areas. The first is theological dialogue, where we bring people of diverse faiths together to foster relationships, educate each other, and share in both prayer and practice. The second is social justice, where we unite in advocacy and action to work for justice and the common good. In short, we strive to build relationships rooted in our faith traditions that move to action, aligning with our tagline, be together, talk together, act together.
Thank you, Robert. Holly, can you help us, Holly, to read this part?
Yes, we offer a variety of programs and opportunities for you to get involved and connect with neighbors from different faith backgrounds. Please visit our community working teams below and Faith Forum to learn more about how you can engage with our ongoing efforts and be part of meaningful conversations and actions across diverse faith traditions.
Thank you, Holly. So we are having this organization divided in working groups. We have the Theological Dialogue Commission and the Social Justice Commission. We will start with the Theological Dialogue Commission. The teams that we have for the Theological Dialogue Commission is the Arizona Faith Talks. I will share in this part. We have the Arizona Faith Talks, the Faith 101, the Interfaith Dialogue Committee, and the Interfaith Youth and Young Adults. And I wonder, Holly, if you would like to share more about your experience with specific the Know Your Neighbor program. How was that for you?
Yeah, it was incredible. So we the idea behind it was to bring, like he said, these different leaders within different faith or religions and faith practices to come together, just as leaders to come together and break bread together. We shared a meal and really just to talk. And the idea of breaking down these barriers or kind of misunderstandings that happen within, just the way we kind of categorize people and we just assume certain things about each other. And so I thought it was really beautiful. People sat in different groups there. I think we broke into 4 groups where we sat in tables and ate and talked and discussed. And then after, to hear people share what had been learned, you could tell it was just one in particular said, they hadn't been, they were just happy to see some of these ideas they had about a certain faith kind of change and become more inclusive and of each other. And it was just, yeah, it was a lovely experience. So, and it was shared at, what was the name? It was the Episcopalian church there in the desert. And I can't remember the name of Reverend Holly was the one that hosted that and let us be there. And it was just lovely. We had imams, we had 2 Jewish rabbis, we had members from my faith, the LDS church. There was members from different faith organizations and even New Age faith centers, which I thought was beautiful. So that was a cool experience. I'm glad I got to fly out. It's making me tempted to move to Arizona, So I have family though. I better go home eventually.
Thank you so much, Holly. And so together, Holly and myself and the team have been working to create these programs opportunities. And currently we are working together with Holly, helping us on the organization for a peacemaking series. And I will share my screen again to show you that we are coming this upcoming September 14th. We are going to have um, this open conversation with Stephen Collins, who we do research and teach religion, law, and productive discourse on the First Amendment topics, for example. And I wonder, Holly, if you would like to share more about this.
Yeah, he was connected to us by somebody else who was connected to different leaders within the LDS faith, but he's from Texas, teaches, he said, at University of Texas, Austin in the law school, but he has written a book called Habits of a Peacemaker. And I happened to find out that his calling or his job in our church is to be a peacemaker specialist. And so he really has, it's part of what he was doing already, but he was called to reach out and teach other leaders in our church more about habits and how to become better peacemakers and bridge divides. And so he'll be coming and speaking. He's written other books too, but that's what he's going to be focusing on. And it's been great. And is this the first of the Peacemaker series, Basabandu, or is
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Arizona Faith Talks, which is another, just different people, renowned theologians speaking to this, but this one is focusing on peacemaking series. So it's really beautiful.
Thank you, Holly. Yes. So this is part of the work that we do for the Theological Dialogue Commission. And then we also have the Social Justice Commission that focus on these community teams, the Cherishing Creation Collaborative, which is a working group that meets every month on the environment, to working for public lands, for the water, for educating the faith communities on sustainable resources of energy, including solar panels at houses of worship. So we do everything around the environment. As you know, currently we have been working with indigenous communities to protect some areas that are sacred for indigenous communities, to protect because some companies want to mine in these areas. So we are doing advocacy and prayer and different things that are helping on protecting the land, the sacred land for indigenous communities. Other thing that we have is the community resilience and heat relief that we will explain more, but is focused on helping our communities to relieve from the extreme heat that we are experiencing here in Arizona. Recently, we have 115 degrees, and this has been very critical for the health and the life for many people. So we are saving lives, opening cooling centers, opening community resilience centers. We give water, food, and a place with air condition for people who don't have a home or may don't have the conditions to afford air condition. Then we have the faithful Arizona border that is related on voting rights. This committee meets also every month, and currently we are having some elections here in Arizona, local. So we are helping educating the communities. Also, we have the hunger and housing community team that meets every 2 months or 3 months, and we are helping on connecting different networks related to hunger and housing. That also interconnects with the work that we do at the community resilience centers. And lastly, we have the Safe Communities Coalition, and we have been working very closely with Alan on this coalition. Therefore, I wonder, Alan, if you would like to share more about your experience on the Safe
Of
Communities Coalition.
course. So the Safe Communities Coalition, I'll put my camera back on, I've stopped eating. The Safe Communities Coalition grew out of a project that the Jewish community started several years ago. As you all know, there have been a lot of threats consistently against the Jewish community. And so we organized basically in cooperation with law enforcement, but separately, kind of an open source intelligence, watching social media, watching the dark web, watching unpleasant groups on Reddit, neo-Nazi boards, white supremacist boards, possible threats against Jewish institutions, and also helping identify people who are threatening synagogues and community centers. Often we found we could identify some guy in a security camera faster than the cops could, or in some cases they weren't comfortable telling us, but we could find it ourselves. We also learned and discovered that many of the same people threatening the Jewish community were threatening others as well, including all of your communities here on this call. They're threatening cooling centers. They were threatening immigration centers, all sorts of things. And so we shared the intelligence that we found with the broader community, including with the Arizona Faith Network. And then over a period of time, we said, you know what? This work is community work. It's not Jewish community work. It's community work. And we shouldn't be owning this, driving this. We should be doing this all together. So we transitioned management, and we did this started earlier this year, of what we used to call our intelligence bureau at the JCRC, to a new soon will be a completely new organization, its own 501c3. It's not there yet because we're still launching, but called the Safe Communities Coalition, which the AFN is a critical part of. I'm on the steering committee, as is Reverend Katie, and the goal. And we've been active even today. There was a guy who's been like throwing rocks and bottles and things at faith organizations, not just synagogues, but including churches. And we managed to work and figure out who this guy is. We worked with Phoenix Police, and they've been out there today working with Phoenix, Scottsdale, Mesa, and Tempe, actually trying to find this guy and arrest him based on research that we did at Safe Communities Coalition. So that's, of all the things to be proud of at AFN, there are many, many things to be proud of at AFN. This is one of them. Thank you, Vincent.
Thank you so much, Alan. So with this coalition, we are also saving lives, saving the well-being, working for the well-being of the faith communities. So I will share again my screen with you to now share with you about the Arizona Faith Forum. It's a digital platform, website based to helping connecting our network locally. So this Faith Forum have the capacity and welcome all the network to posting about important community events that are happening. Also, we focus on giving more updates to the community on the Theological Dialogue Commission and the Social Justice Commission. So this Faith Forum is helping us to connecting our network better. A part of that, we also have a calendar that has been very helpful for our network to connect better. This calendar is very particular because we invite all the network to subscribe to our calendar, so to have all the events that are happening in their personal calendars. But also they are able to submit their events. So they just need to fill this form and we are able to share with the network broadly the events that are happening in their local communities or their faith traditions. So this calendar is helping us to connecting better our network. And you will be able to find in our website this calendar and all the events that we are having. We are welcome you to join us for any event that you are interested in. It's focused on Arizona, but we always welcome the ideas, the perspective, and the experiences of people from any place in the world. That's something that I have learned also during Interfaith Awareness Week. The importance and the beauty to having our global partnership for interfaith collaboration, because we are helping each other and we are sharing specific and unique perspectives and experiences that could help us to discover new tools and new ways to working on interfaith. So today we are sharing with you our experience here in the state of Arizona, a state that have a very diverse social context. In the north and the south, sometimes it's different. The geography, the weather, even the political situation is different. So in the Arizona Faith Network, we are helping the state of Arizona to navigate the extreme heat, the social justice, and the theological dialogue through interfaith collaboration. So I wonder, Holly, if there is something else you would like to share about your experience at Arizona Faith Network.
I'm, I mean, like I said, it's been beautiful to see all that they're doing. I think one thing I've been thinking a lot about lately is this idea around religious literacy and also the ideas of pluralism. And I think Arizona Faith Network is really doing amazing work, not just in bringing people together to do good, but educating people about those things. I think if you saw on one of the lists, there's these Faith 101s where you can, they have experiences where you can learn about the Baha'i faith or learn about Buddhism, Buddhism 101, Baha'i 101. I think we're working on one that will be for the LDS 101 coming in later in the fall, but trying to cover all these different religions, because I think I'm a big believer in education, and the more we know, the better we are, right? And so I also love that that's why we gather for these. We learn from each other, from different things that are happening around the world in interfaith work, and the power that it has to really bring positive change into the world. I've seen that over and over. And so I've loved my experience with AFN, or it's just been incredible. And so those of you who are from Arizona, the great thing is you can look at, you've seen, I mean, some of you already know this, but as we saw that site, anything you're passionate about or something you care about, like Amy mentioned, that, an activist for environmental issues and those things, it's so great that there are ways to connect and keep connecting with other people through this network. And there are we want to be connected, I think, to all kinds of networks. I think it's the idea of connection throughout the state is part of the power of this. So, and through faith networks, which is beautiful. So I've just loved it. So I'm just happy to be here. Thank you. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Holly. And something very particular, as you all know, I immigrated from Mexico 5 years ago to the United States. I was living in Arizona for 1 year, and then I moved to San Diego because of my husband going to law school at University of San Diego. That's how we met with Holly, through the University of San Diego. And then I come back to Arizona. And something very particular of Arizona is the extreme heat. And I have been fascinated to see and to work through interfaith collaboration to address the extreme heat, to find heat relief for our communities. I will share more with you about that because we have been creating a wonderful partnership with government and universities, the Arizona State University, to helping our communities on the heat relief. So Arizona extreme heat is growing and is getting worse each year. So we support in that way with water, cooling supplies, and safe shelter for the most vulnerable in our community. So to combat this, we have been creating a collaboration with the Maricopa Association of Governments. For example, in the 2024 season, Arizona has welcomed more than 48,000 visitors to 14 heat respite centers. So that's why we locate strategically in high-risk areas these cooling centers. Through the heat relief network, we are discovering what is the areas and the population that we are going to support. So together across different religions, we are avoiding this climate crisis and also the systemic inequalities. So this for the 2025, this is the cooling centers that we have in the Maricopa County, in the Phoenix area and cities around. So you are able to see these locations in the map, and we are very grateful for churches from different denominations and people from different religions that come to the cooling centers to volunteer, to give their time, their energy, and their resources to support the most vulnerable because of the extreme heat. So this is something very particular that I have lived. I have been working with many other interfaith organizations, and Arizona Faith Network has brought this experience, this unique experience on the heat relief in my personal life. I wonder how many of you have visited Arizona. You can raise your hand or do any reaction. Some of you are living here in Arizona, but if you have visited before Arizona, Reverend Steve and Reverend Abigail, have you visited before Arizona, and how was your experience with the heat?
Oh boy. 117. I was teaching at University of Phoenix in San Diego, and I was invited to speak at a church in Phoenix, and it turned out to be the same week that the University of Phoenix had their graduation. And so Abigail came with me for the first time into the heat of Arizona. And we joke about it, but it was absolutely true. We drove up to the motel that we were staying at, and she was about to open the door when I said, "Honey, I love you, but you've never experienced 117 degrees." And she said, "Oh, no, no problem." And she opened the door and she closed the door. And I think what you said, babe, was your shoes melted in the tar on the driveway.
I felt my shoes gonna melt. I think I got
Yes, it's very extreme, the heat. Yeah, you remember, Holly, that when we worked together for the Know Your Neighbor program, how was for you
Yeah,
that?
I was gonna say so the day that a couple days I spent there, I'd been to Arizona when I was a little girl and it was in the winter, which yeah, it was warm then, but so I hadn't been there and got out at Phoenix. I got there at night, but the next day when Vandu and I, after the Know Your Neighbor event, we were in an air-conditioned car. Obviously, that really helps to travel there. But we went to one of those cooling centers, and as we even just getting from the car into a building, that heat is it can be suffocating. And it's so bright. It feels like you're gonna be blinded. It's just very bright. So, but I thought it was beautiful as we walked into that church to feel the coolness, to see all these people, a lot of people sleeping, just resting, getting respite from the heat, who are vulnerable, and these populations. And we actually had some food left over and got to help serve a little food. And people are polite and kind, and just, there wasn't enough for everybody, and they still just were very grateful. But I was really touched by that. And I thought, yeah, I think unless you experience it, I knew it was hot, but kind of like Steve said, it's shocking. And for Abigail, that kind of experience it is. And the rest of the trip, and even before that experience, driving to and from the airport, and I stayed in a hotel close by the airport. There's so many people outside, like sleeping in the bus stops, or, I saw a lot of the unhoused, because I was in the parts of town that will probably be more, industrial or just different places. And yeah, I worry for that. I just thought it's got to be impossible. So I think it's amazing that they've created these centers, and it is saving lives, literally. I think it's really beautiful. So
Thank you so much, Holly. And we have a comment from Carol that Carol was in Phoenix in 1988 when it hit 121. Wow. And they closed the airport. And yes, I hear about that because of the heat, we need to close the airport. And your sister husband was a postman, and they receive accommodations for carrying.
Yeah, he was delivering mail as they do, going from door to door, mailbox to mailbox, and they received these shirts that had a thermometer on it with the top of the thermometer blowing up so that it had the red mercury insides over the shoulder. They were all given T-shirts for that, and then some kind of something from the Phoenix Postal Service. They got accommodations for actually delivering the mail that day. But they closed the airport because they had no data on the aircraft over 119 degrees. So to be safe, they didn't know what would happen with the expansion of the gasoline and the fuel rather inside the aircraft. So they just erred on the side of caution and closed the airport. I think it was about 12 hours till the sun went down. So
Yes. Thank you, Carol.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why this work that we are doing for the Cooling Center is very unique, and also the approach through interfaith collaboration. We bring this unique approach to the heat relief network. I will show you a large map of the cooling centers in general from the heat relief network. So here you will see some of the location, and we have some that are only cooling centers, others are respite centers, other hydration station, and donation site. So in this map, we can actually navigate for all the locations. You can see how many they are. For the faith-based one, this is our map from Arizona Faith Network, the faith-based cooling centers. But the other map is for the larger network. And with that, because your experience in Syria, Imam, I wonder what difference do you find? And if you have seen in Syria, for example, some kind of interfaith initiative to approach to the environment.
The heat in Syria, it's like in Syria, it's Middle East. So the fourth season, you have the fourth season, like you have the winter, but not very, very cold, and the spring, the fall, and the summer. So even it's like I don't know how to say in English, but it's moderate, like Syria, like Syria, Israel, and Palestine, and Jordan, and Lebanon. It's in the place where the weather it's not extremely cold or very hot. So it's normal. Like I remember in Syria in summer we go and like we have our hair like that, and we don't have sweating like here in Arizona. So about initiative, no, I don't remember in Syria I have met any like this kind of serious initiative about that, because the weather it's not bad.
Yes, yes. So how has it been for you navigating the adaptation to this weather?
In Arizona, Yeah, it's very very hot. It's affect even our health. Like in Arizona, like my when we came to Arizona, our hair like start losing, and like I am using this eye drop because the doctors say because the weather it's very changed from Middle East to Arizona. So and like I but I keep drinking water a lot, but still when I go out, I feel like the sun take all the water from my body. It's very, but I love Arizona. I love the cactus.
Thank you, man. Yes, we have a beautiful landscape and nature, the desert nature. With that, I would like to open the conversation also with you, Aim Beck, about what is your hope in Arizona specifically on how we approach to the environment through interfaith collaboration. If you have a specific hope, and how do you see the unique contributions of different religions? For example, sometimes religions can be an inspiration for lawmakers and stakeholders to take good decisions.
Well, thank you for asking me that. I think this is where, through interfaith dialogue, is where we can support our lawmakers. I think in Arizona is particularly set up to listen to faith leaders. So it seems to be a good pressure point for our political leaders on that, and especially when we all come together from our different places and pressure for change, let's say. I've recently moved back to this area, Mojave County. It's slightly hotter than Phoenix because of the geography. So this is the tri-state area where California, Nevada, and Arizona come together. We're split with the Colorado River, and actually we are a few degrees hotter. So if Phoenix is 115, it's probably 118, 119 here. The difference would be is that we cool down at night because we're lacking the mass of concrete, but it's still untenable. And I would love to see somewhere in this county just one cooling center. And I would like to see that happen. And then also bringing together the awareness of the environment here. The water is a concern, right? Water issues, although we have and share the Colorado River. Some of the recent issues with that is that the Colorado River doesn't have enough water to supply all of the people depending on it, especially in this particular area for tourism. There's people who run all kinds of businesses based on tourism, and the Bureau of Water Reclamation that runs the dam flows from Hoover Dam don't release that much water to save it for the agricultural and human uses. Tourism uses are down on that list. So water is a big concern here too. And I think some of those things again, and the dialogue around it and the pressure to make sure we're all getting the water that's needed is especially needed through an organization like this, where I think, especially in this area, would be listened to a little bit more than maybe a group from maybe some of my other activist brethren who come at it differently, but people of faith tend to maybe come with a little bit more validity for this area that I've noticed. And, you know, maybe just because of the way this area is, like you said, Arizona's got its pockets where some politics are different, and this is one of those areas. So thank you for letting me say my views and what I wish to see for where I'm now residing.
Thank you so much for sharing your views. Yes, it's very particular in that way, Arizona. Also, other particularity that I find coming from Mexico is that we are a border state, that we have the border to Mexico, and that we share in common the Sonoran Desert that go through the border. Mexico and Arizona share the same desert. So we share the same desert, the same nature, the same landscape, but at the same time, we are different countries. And sometimes there is this kind of division. So recently we have been working at Arizona Faith Network to create a healing circle for our communities on immigration. Currently, our immigrants communities, including myself, we are suffering, but we are creating through interfaith collaboration a support community to having hope and to heal from any suffering that we may experience. So we open the conversation also on that for anybody of you who would like to share any other kind of particularity that you find in Arizona. For example, for you, Imam, from your perspective, if you have anything that you find very particular of Arizona, Aim, Holly, anybody, also Alan, if you have find anything that is particular.
I have question. What do you mean by particular? What the question?
Something that is unique and has been
Ah,
other places that you have lived before.
you meant like you speak about the heat, which is bad, but now you want something positive about Arizona?
Correct. Anything else that could relate it that how we working on interfaith collaboration?
Okay, okay. I will think.
Yes. For me, the thing I have find unique is also the Mexican American population. So that's why I'm also supporting on integrating the Spanish language into the work that we do for interfaith collaboration, because we need to connect more with the Spanish speaking community. Um, but that's other particularity I find in doing this interfaith work, specific in Arizona.
I
For
wouldn't
example,
say one thing to you, Vasu, about that topic. When I was living in Arizona, I left in 93, but I'm going to say that around 1990, there was actually an election to change the language of Arizona from English to Spanish. And what was crazy about the is how narrowly it almost passed. And I was a business owner at that time. And I remember thinking all of the things I was going to have to change if that happened. And then I ended up saying, you know what? I have so many people that speak Spanish. And I'll say today on Duolingo, I hit my 1,500 day mark in my streak. So over 4 years without missing a day. So I speak Spanish. But I will also say that it was remarkable how close that was, because so many people who were regular US citizens who thought English was just our language in the United States, they did not come to the polls. So what ended up happening in the state was it became really close. It did not pass, but it was quite remarkable, the outcome, just because of that. People just thought it was so out there as a US state that it wouldn't even be a thing. And I just remember laughing about that, because really it has to do with getting people fired up and getting them to the polls. So I liked seeing that you work on that aspect in one of your areas as well. So I love your organization. I'm so happy I decided to sign on with you guys tonight.
thank you
Thanks.
so much, Carol, and thank you so much for your support. We appreciate that very much. That's very interesting that Spanish has been very influential in Arizona. Because of my work with the Buddhist community, I have been having the opportunity to work with Japanese, Vietnamese, Chinese, and Sri Lanka Buddhist practitioners and communities. So there is a lot of diversity in Arizona. And recently, Holly and myself, we were having talking about the religious landscape in Arizona. For you, Holly, living in San Diego, coming from Salt Lake City, and then working in a interfaith organization in Arizona, you have this richness, beauty perspective of three different landscapes, three different religious landscapes. So I would like to learn from your experience, something that you have find different between Utah, California, and Arizona.
That's such a great question. Well, if any of you are familiar with Utah, there's a dominant religious, narrative there. And having grown up there and a part of that dominant religion, I feel like interfaith work, and I started doing some interfaith work more back in Utah before I went back to school. It just kind of cracked open my heart, and it's almost like somebody pulled away a curtain, because I was just in my bubble. We get in our little communities and our bubbles, and we think that's how the whole world looks. And there were other reasons for that. that curtain opening, other events that happened in my own family's lives, but it really shifted and changed the way I saw things. So coming from that, I sometimes would struggle and feel frustrated in Utah to try to help other members of my faith realize the need for interfaith work, the need to see others and reach out, and how much more powerful and beautiful it is when we are together, like when we are working together to do good. And so I've been looking at that, and then coming to California, which is, I mean, Utah is such a conservative political state. And I always felt like maybe I was a little more progressive. Anyway, I grew up with pretty liberal parents. They were, quote, Democrats, back in the day, and or independent, but Utah's a hard place to be a Democrat. So it's just interesting to, feel like to see that difference, and then come to California, which is a very different demographic, but actually surprisingly, I don't know if it's the West, but similar in a lot of ways too. So it's kind of interesting, but quite a mix, much more diversity, not in just religions, but people and from all over the world. And it's just been really incredible. And then my one short experience, but my time in Arizona, but also just working with Vasa Bandhu over the last several months, seeing like a whole different culture, a different feel, different diversity in faiths, but also, coming from Mormon pioneer stock, family and members who settled in Arizona, and so there's kind of that base there from my religion at that time, but realizing that there, I think sometimes people are in bubbles there in their own communities. We all are, so it's been interesting to try to, with Vasa Bandhu even, to figure out how to reach out to people of my own faith, like how do we get leaders on board and people involved, which has, been eye-opening, but also important work for me as I go back to Utah to see that. So, but no, I don't know if any of this is making sense, but it's been really great. I think one thing when you talked about particularities is echoing in all this, here we are talking about religion, but there's this the political world and what's happening in politics in different states is greatly impacted by religion sometimes, and sometimes that religious, this nationalism, Christian nationalism, it just, extremes where people take religion and it becomes sometimes used to harm, and opposite of what most all religions, I think, preach is do no harm, to love others. And, so it's fascinating for me to watch different political climates in these 3 different states, but how they are also influenced and impacted by religion and different faiths. And I love seeing like Arizona Faith Network wielding the power of religion to do good, coming together as different people and seeing the divine in each human, each individual, and helping others to see that, whether it's cooling centers, climate, theological dialogue, learning from each other, or getting out to vote, having a voice. But I think it's a beautiful, power is a strange word, but it can be a powerful way to harness good and do good in the world. So anyway, I've talked a little too much, but that's been my experience with these 3 different climates, literal climates, and also socioeconomic climates and political climates and physical climates and religious climates in these 3 states. It's been really fascinating, and I've loved learning about it. So
Thank you so much, Holly. That's what I appreciate to having this global connection and global partnerships, because help us to understand different perspectives and different experiences. I started working for Interfaith in Central America when I was 18 in El Salvador. So El Salvador is very particular also in other things. And then learning in working in Interfaith in Mexico and now in the US. And I know that each of you have also different experiences in different locations and religious landscapes and social and political contexts. I wonder, Reverend Steve and Reverend Abigail, how has been for you in San Diego? If you find something particular, for example, in your local work, and then we can go to somebody else, to Robert and Donna, to share also with us something particular, different that you have find in your local interfaith work.
I'm going to turn it over to Robert. I say too much.
Coward.
Oh, go for it, Robert.
So, can you restate that? I'm trying to conceptualize what you want to get.
Yes, of course. Something different that you have find, different from other interfaith organizations that you have find in your local work.
My local work. Well, let me talk about just, our group of Poway Interfaith team. I'll tell you a story. Okay.
We like
It's like
stories.
when we first started, I like this story. I wasn't one of Steve and Abigail are founding members of Poway Interfaith team. And I came along a little bit later with my wife, Sidel, whom she was a president for a couple of years also. But in the beginning, we came together, we kind of idealistic. You have to be somewhat idealistic, I think, to do interfaith, because you have to get out of the box a little bit, and so you're exploring. It's an adventure. And so in the beginning, we would have our meetings and see each other, and it's noticeable that the cultures are different and stuff like this. So we were very careful with each other, very careful to say the right things and to be polite. The interesting thing is, over time, something happened, and we became friends, and we could let down our guard, a little bit, you know, joking around with each other. And in doing that, we found out how much the same we were. People everywhere are a lot the same. Sometimes we have to kind of loosen up our cultural norms, or the way we're supposed to behave and be, and eh, friends open up to each other, and they outside of culture, uh they open up to each other and say how they really feel. So that's the one thing that I noticed with the Poway Interfaith team. We have people that we've been together for a long time, and it's like it's an extended family, and we just really appreciate each other that way. So that's my experience.
I'd like to just share a little bit too. I'm going to jump on Robert's talk, because I agree. I think anytime you eat together, work together, you play together, you just become friends. And instead of saying, this is my Baha'i friend, or this is my Hindu friend, this is my friend, so you don't even say the faith anymore. But I think a couple of things happened that helped us really get to that place that Robert was saying. Was number one, we had a big discussion about trying to be, like Robert said, just being careful of what you say, so you're not going to make somebody upset. We have this conversation about how we end our prayers, and I don't know if you were in that conversation, Robert, but I know that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints always says, in the name of Jesus, or in Jesus's name. And we had some other Christian, people say the same thing, and people were worried that that was offending our Jewish friends and our Muslim friends. And so we had the discussion, and we finally, as a consensus, said, you know what? That's your prayer. You pray it the way you want to. Close it the way is right for you, and we will just be happy with that. It's not even whether we accept it, is we honor that in you. And the second thing that happened is we had what we call Interfaith Summer Nights, where we would have speakers come and speak like several weeks during the summer. And we usually had it at this one church, Community Church Poway. And one year they put up a variety of crosses in their fellowship hall. And they were really pieces of art. They were all very different. Some were cloth, some were metal, some were small, big. Anyways, it filled the whole wall. And the minister there at the time was Reverend Glenn Larson. Bless his heart, he's passed since then. But he says, I don't want to offend anybody. Shall we take the crosses down for this big event? So we got together and we all, as a consensus, says, no, that's your church. You put up what you want. It's not going to offend anybody. You know, when we go into a Buddhist temple, when we go into a synagogue, when we go into the Catholic Church, this is who they are. And it's time we just honor and respect and just love them for who they are and not try anybody change anything for somebody else because you don't want to offend somebody. We've decided we're just not offensive. We're just not going to go there. So I think that kind of was some of those little things that we kind of wound into and around and through that has really created what Robert was saying, that we have become friends and we just honor and respect each other.
Thank you so much. It's beautiful how you have built in this friendship, in this local interfaith work. Thank you so much, Ruben, Abigail, and Robert. And we have some comments in the chat. For example, Ulrich is sharing with us that through the European Union, we countries can support each other better. So this has been particularly evident during the pandemic. And it doesn't matter whether we speak German, Spanish, French, or what nationality we are. And also recognizing the global support that is important now, especially for the challenges of this time. In her point of view, no nation can achieve this on its own. So I deeply feel that we all have intersectionalities, and many of us have moved migration in different country or even internal migration in different state or city. And on our intersectionalities, I believe that we have recognizing that we need from each other. That's why I love our global partnership through interfaith collaboration and the team and the spirit that you bring during Interfaith Awareness Week, this message to know that we are not alone and that we are thousands of people and groups. So thank you so much, Reverend Steve, Reverend Abigail. Thank you, the Interfaith Awareness Week. And Robert, you have your hand.
Yeah, I just one thing you said sparked a thought in my head, and I was thinking, religions don't have borders. There's no national borders, and everybody always prays for world peace. Nobody really knows how to do it, or how it's going to be done. But my personal feeling is that religion is going to be a big part of that. So that's why it's very important. Interfaith is so important. I don't want to get political here, but in the world peace room, I think it's religions that are going to lead the way. It's not going to be politics. I think that's the only way. That's the only way to solve resentment. Excuse me, man. And now you're a Buddhist, is that correct? I'm sorry, I just want to say one story here. Years ago, we went to our nephew's wedding in Japan, and we visited both Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And we had one person who was actually a survivor of Hiroshima, and he guided us around. And at the end, I asked him, is there resentment against Americans and stuff? And one of the things he said one of the things that really helped the Japanese recover was the Buddhists in Japan. just helped them resolve their resentment. And it was amazing. And I think that's something that really transformed Japan and turned it into such a successful nation after World War II. I mean, it was devastated. I mean, the only nation that has suffered not one, but two atomic bombs. Nobody in history, only Japan. I mean, that's a flag that that's a badge of honor that they can wear. They came back from that as a incredible nation, without resentment. Yeah, that's, I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you so much, Robert. Yes, you remind me the importance of compassion and reconciliation. I'm coming from Mexico, and my identity is also intersection between my indigenous ancestors and Europeans ancestors. And internally, I'm also living the process of reconciliation because there was harmful um, things happening in the history of Mexico, Latin America, and here in the United States, in the American continent. But reconciliation is something that I'm learning through interfaith collaboration. So thank you so much, Robert, for that. Yes. And we open the conversation. We have 7 more minutes. If there is something else that is important to you in today's world, today's time, that interconnects with interfaith.
I'd like to kind of piggyback on what Robert just mentioned about being there in Hiroshima. I'm a member of Unity Earth, which is an organization that Ben Bowler is the director of out of Australia. And I know Karen, who's in the call here from Global Peace Tribe. We've known each other since April of 2020 when I was living in Albania. Totally off topic with that. At any rate, I know she knows Ben Bowler and Unity Earth. And they met because it was the 80th anniversary of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And they had an interfaith gathering there with Unity Earth that was so touching. I want to say, I can't remember the exact date now of the dropping, but they met on that day and they had wonderful Japanese guides that took them around, and it was so healing and so touching. Our musician, who goes by the name of Omashar, said it was absolutely life-changing for him. Kristen Hoffman, who does a lot of musical things with the organization, a graduate from Juilliard, wrote a musical song about the experience. We had John Raymer there, who he does a whole lot of things in the Sign Network, which combines a lot of people who are from different faith traditions. And you guys, I met you there because you were guests a week ago Wednesday, and I couldn't get over. I was so excited when you posted the schedule for this week because I made a note in my calendar to sit down and go through that and put in every single one of the opportunities for this whole week because I'm on vacation at my house in Trinidad. So I had a lot of time to squeeze in a lot of the different opportunities. And I mean, it's life-changing just this week for me to be here, and just thank you. I just want to thank all of you all so much. And I know we still have another couple days to go. So it's a beautiful thing how we are all coming together. It really gives me hope because I'm in that Civil War family with mixed political whatever. And it's everything I can do not to, scream a lot of times, because how can we not be on the right side of love? Please. So I'm all like, thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Yes, it's beautiful how interfaith teach us also to navigate difficult conversations and to navigate the peace building. Yes, this is a celebration. I also believe that Interfaith Awareness Week is a celebration of our beautiful tapestry of interfaith organizations all around the world. Somebody else would like to share your experience? Any closing about this session that you would like to share? Anything that you have learned that has been different from your local work?
I just have a thought that when we close, I would love to have somebody offer a prayer just for our group. And in any kind of prayer, I'm just open to that. If anybody's willing or able. What do you think, Pastor?
Yes, that will be very special. Thank you, Holly.
Can I say a short prayer in English and in Arabic?
Yes.
So I will say, I will chant it in Arabic, but then I will read it in English to understand what the word, okay? So I will start with Arabic and then the English. هل من مفرج غير الله قل سبحان الله هو الله كل عباد له وكل بأمره قائمون هو الله كل عباد له وكل بأمره قائمون. The words in English, it's: is there any remover of difficulties save God? Say, praised be God. He is God. All are his servants, and all abide by his bidding.
Thank you so much, Iman. With this beautiful prayer from your faith for this bilingual expression, we close this time for the Arizona Faith Network on this presentation. And we welcome you, each of you, all of you, people who are here inside Arizona, living in Arizona, and people who are living in other states, even in other countries from Europe and many, many other countries. We welcome you all, our global community, to collaborate with us, to collaborate together for Interfaith. For me, in my role here working in Arizona, I always want to bring our global partnership for our community, our local community, to know that we are not alone and that we are a wonderful and big movement, the Interfaith movement. So thank you so much, Robert and Steve. Thank you so much, Holly. Thank you so much, Robert, everyone, for spending this time with us.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you.